Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bethany, and on this channel we talk about the false beliefs taught to women inside of the church, and we also shine a light on problematic Christian influencers. So if any of that resonates with you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it with a friend, and turn on the little notification bell so you'll be notified every single time I drop a new video. Come follow me here on Instagram and sign up for the Outspoken Exfundie Newsletter so you can receive videos 12 to 24 hours before they go public. Today we have another church horror stories. We have 3 entries for this video. It'll probably be a bit shorter because these stories are quite short. So if you have any church horror stories, a deconstruction story that you would like to share, go in the description box below and click the form link and just fill it out. And I'll probably do everybody's anonymous just in case. I would love to shine a light on your experience, on your story when it comes to Churchhurt, your deconstruction story, what you've experienced in the church that kind of turned you off, like whatever the case may be. I would love to share it on my channel. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first one, I started singing on the worship team when I was 15, and I was the youngest person involved. There were 2 men who alternated leading. One rehearsal, after we finished a song that I was singing melody, the leader that week said, "Wow, maybe you should just lead all the songs." And the other leader, who was still playing that week, just not leading, immediately said, "No, she can't do that." And because I'm a girl. That's awful. Girl, I have so many praise team horror stories. I can write a damn book about it. That's awful. I'm sorry that you experienced that, and I hope that you were able to understand at that time that it's coming from like an insecurity of that male, I would imagine. And in the church that I particularly went to when I was growing up, there was one guy who didn't lead worship, but did he want to? He is now. But oh man, did he ever want to. But he won't ever, even though it would be the best decision for that praise team, him just like giving the praise team leader role to somebody who actually knows what the hell they're doing and has experience in transposing music and also transposing keys and writing in different keys. He doesn't want to, right? So you'll always find those people, unfortunately. So this is anonymous. I think I'm just going to do all of them anonymous just so I don't have to worry about it. Anonymous male. So during my undergrad, while I was in college, there was a Christian ministry on my campus that would meet every week for services. I was in a small group for guys, and I felt comfortable with my leader about masturbation and self-pleasure. I asked for prayer. At the time, I thought any form of self-pleasure was sinful. Fast forward, at the midweek service, there was an announcement. Oh my God, I haven't even read this, but I think I know what the announcement is. Oh my God, was he doing it? A girl walked up and said that we have a small group for people who are struggling with self-pleasure and masturbation. I was shocked, stunned, and felt like I could not trust any of my leaders. Okay. What this meant was that my private information was leaked and linked back to me. How embarrassing. As a pastor's kid, I remember not having the talk with my dad. This whole situation in college reminded me of what happened in high school. I remember my junior year of high school, I was discovering my body and my dad walked in on me. Oh God. I didn't see my phone until the beginning of my senior year of high school. Yeah. I never knew that self-pleasure was such a sin and looked down upon. I still do it. It is this is so interesting. It is so highly frowned upon in the church because it's labeled as sexual sin. Because what are you doing when you are self-pleasuring? You're 9 times out of 10 thinking about sexual things. And so they do not want They do not want you touching yourself, thinking about those things, because yeah, it is a sin. And that's so, well, you know what I mean, like it is a sin in the church. But that is so awful. That is so awful that you couldn't trust, and or like your trust was completely gone with that person. That is the shitty thing about when, you know, mentors in the church and like older people in the church, they say, hey, you can tell me anything, I will help you through it, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, exactly what the story was, somebody walks up to you, and or the message for the week turns into what you're struggling about. Now that I kind of feel bad for the boyfriend I had in high school, because in the moment when I saw him, you know, praying to God and, you know, falling on his face before God in the altar because of his sexual sin, you know, the pornography, everybody knew about it. Everybody knew about it because, you know, it's a part of your testimony, and it's something that he was a teenager. He kept going back to. And so every single time that he'd go to the altar, everybody freaking knew why he was there. And that's such a personal thing to deal with. And now I kind of feel bad for him in that moment. But because that's his personal information, and it's just like, out there, I know what you're doing in your free time, you know, which is so terribly awful. But I think I've said this before, but there was one woman in particular in the church that I grew up in where if we specifically wanted people to know this secret, not like a sexual, but like whatever secret, we would tell her, and we would say, hey, don't tell anybody, but fill in the blank. Because we knew that she was gonna talk. So as soon as it got around the church, it was like, yeah, that's what I thought. You know what I mean? Like, it's so terrible, but you know, that's what happened. Okay, carrying on. Okay, Anonymous, this is very long, so if you don't want to read it, no problem. Joke's on you, I'm gonna read it. So my church was very small, like less than 20 people total, including all the kids. Jesus. It was mainly a few families and then a few older couples and single people, usually related to someone else in the church. Yep. We met in the rented out basement of a motel on Sundays and congregation homes on Wednesday nights. To some people that might sound weird, but if you have a smaller congregation, it's not odd to just meet somewhere. I went to church with a friend who would meet in the gym of a YMCA. So it's not, like, that's not weird if you're like, oh my God, a basement. It's as much as it is weird, like, it's not. It was weird, and my siblings and I were homeschooled. That's so funny. I didn't even read the next sentence before I said it was weird. It was weird, and my siblings and I were homeschooled like the majority of the kids in the church. Our old, but somehow still alive. No, wait. Hold on. Our old, but somehow still alive now pastor took the Bible way too seriously and in no relation now. Wait, Jesus. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Our old, but somehow still alive now pastor took the Bible way too seriously and in no relation. Now I'm a pansexual, right? I'm a pansexual atheist in therapy. Got it. On December 31st, 1999, the church had a Y2K party. Oh my God. At the same time, certain people were convinced that it was the end of the world for some reason, and churches had parties. Ours was one such. Like, they were the ones having the parties. My family, when Y2K happened, raised in Missouri, born in Arkansas, raised in Missouri, and obviously now I'm in Texas, but in Missouri, and, you know, probably Arkansas, in some northern places in Texas, which I think we should have one here. Anyway, there are a lot of basements, storm shelters, you know, those types of things. And so we had the basement, but we had what was called the Frady hole, and that was actually where we'd go just in case an actual, like, tornado happened. And so we had MREs and a shit ton of water. So if you don't know what an MRE is, it's what the military uses as food. So it's like powdered food that can last for years and years and years. We had a ton of those and a whole bunch of other things. And so I remember we stayed up and waited for that like 2000 to click, and we're like, oh my god, all the computers are gonna shut down, which I don't think we had a computer at that time, back when not everybody had freaking computers in their home and internet like wasn't a thing in all houses, Wi-Fi wasn't a thing, like come on now. And so we didn't have, I don't think we either just got a computer and one of the big ones, and we were thinking that the whole like earth was gonna shut down, Jesus was gonna come back, and like all the electricity was gonna, whatever, all of the crazy things. So I totally understand where he's coming from. I remember asking more than one adult before that party if the world was going to end. They wouldn't say no, they would just say something like, at least we will be together. Oh my god, no, or whatever. I was fucking terrified. I picked out my clothes thinking those would be what I was wearing at the end. After talking to another sibling in adulthood, she also was terrified, so I wasn't alone in this thinking. I had a secret. I already knew at that point that I liked girls as well as boys. So that meant everyone else was going to leave, go to heaven, and leave me there. No. Because that's what our church taught, and everyone said... that's what our church taught and everyone said. I believe that all men were born with one less rib because that's what we were taught in Sunday school. Yep. So it's safe to say I wasn't the cleverest of children. Thankfully, a college level biology class showed me I was wrong about a lot. No. I do not want you to think, as well as anybody else listening to this, watching it, whatever, and even myself, I have to remind, it wasn't your fault. Like, I wasn't the cleverest of children. No. Like, the things that you were believing are things that the adults in your life, and you want to be able to trust the mentors, the adults in your life. That's what they were saying to you to believe. That's what they were teaching you to believe. And you were believing it because that's all you knew. It is not your fault. Please don't say I wasn't the cleverest of children. You were just trusting in the teachings of the adults in your life at the time. And that's what you wanted to believe. Like, of course. That's all you know. Of course you're going to believe it. And I was going to have to try and get home through the end of the world. Like, where else was I going to go? And honestly thought it would be completely chaos after the rapture. Dead bodies, fires everywhere. Yep. Rampaging gangs of sinners. That's awesome. I'm sorry if that wasn't supposed to be funny, but that's, I totally understand. Old Christian content painted a very pretty scary image for an already anxious kid. Yep. The party was in the motel basement. It smelled like mothballs and old cigarettes, and they had the pulpit and chair set up like normal. There was a huge old grandfather clock in the corner that kept chiming every hour. Okay, now that's weird. That's the first night I ever remember disassociating. I was anxiously walking in loops around the basement perimeter while everyone was waiting for midnight and praying. God. As it approached midnight and the praying got louder and some people were talking in tongues and loudly crying, yep, I was looking down at myself from the ceiling. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Then the clock chimed midnight and I watched myself from the ceiling. Nothing was happening. No one was disappearing and dropping down to the ground. They were just chanting and praying like normal. Yep. I honestly don't know what happened after that. I think I was too busy trying to handle my panic from that. But I remember we all just left. Yep. Packed up in the minivan and went home at 12 a.m. And no one really ever talked about it again. So yeah, kind of unsatisfying ending to all that buildup. But I'm guessing that all the adults kind of realized nothing was going to happen, so they were embarrassed. So weird. Yes, I think, number one, it was a part of embarrassment because they are listening to the mentors in their life, and they're listening to what the pastors are saying, and even super, super conservative news, probably. Maybe even all the news. I'm not sure what they were saying in the news, but I can really see conservative, like, ultra rotten news saying stuff to that effect, like, oh, just be ready. So, and TBN, the Trinity Broadcasting Network, is a Christian TV show. Well, not TV show, but like Christian TV. So, they're thinking that they're doing the right thing, but then nothing happens, and it's like, oh, it wasn't Jesus' time. Nobody will know the day, month, year. Nobody will know. In the twinkling of an eye, it'll happen, and we were ready in that moment, so we can be ready again. It's very, and this is, okay, so my mom passed away in 2012, and I had to do a lot of forgiving my mom because of stuff like this, of the rapture talk, that I literally just put a reel about this on Instagram yesterday. What would happen to me if I had disobeyed her and then Jesus came back right then? Like, she did not hold back on hell, on the afterlife, on, like, if I messed up and, told a lie or something silly and got in a wreck, I would for sure go to hell. You know what I mean? So she did not hold back when it came to the afterlife, when it came to heaven and hell. And, I had to deal with my own shit when it came to that. But at the same time, I had to hold so much forgiveness and empathy for my mom, because in her eyes, she's trying to save her kids from an eternity of torment, because that's what she believed. So she would do anything and everything to try and protect me, even though, the ways of protection were not good. But in that moment, it's like, I will do anything and everything to protect my child. I mean, if you have a kid, right now, in this moment, you're like, I don't care what it will take. I will save my child. I will save my child regardless, And that is the same energy for a lot of fundamental Christians when it comes to hell. So they will scare you to not go into hell. They will scare you into doing the right thing, even though, you might question it, whatever. In their eyes, they are being the God-given parent if their child is living under the law of Christianity, under the law of God. I hope that makes sense. That is something that helped me hold a lot of compassion for my mom and empathy and forgiveness, now that I can't, talk to her about it. But it helped me forgive her a lot for those very traumatic things of not being able to freaking sleep at night, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to sin unknowingly, go to sleep, and then I'll wake up in hell, or I'll wake up and my parents will be gone and I will be forever alone. Like, that's freaking terrifying. And that will conclude today's Church Horror Stories. Again, if you have a church horror story, an experience, deconstruction, story, journey, whatever the case may be, I would love to shine a light on your experience. So go ahead and go in the description box below and click the link and share your story. I would love to read through your experience. Always remember that you're a fierce and powerful motherfucking person, and I appreciate you so very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!